today's class. जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, निताय चैतन्य की जय, परशुराम भगवान की जय, वामन देव की जय, पंचतत्व की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are coming towards the conclusive verses of Dhyana Yoga, towards the later part of chapter number 6. So chapter number 6, we have seen, is focusing a lot about control of the mind and about the mechanical process of Ashtanga Yoga. So in this chapter, now after hearing all this yoga system, Krishna has been asked by Arjuna about a question. So Arjuna is asking Krishna in this verse. So let us see what he is asking in this verse. Arjuna vacha ayati shraddha yopeto yoga chalita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later deserts due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism?" So this is the question by Arjuna, right? So this is a common man's question that Arjuna is asking, that this system of yoga or about the mind control, which involves going to a secluded place and withdrawing our mind from the sense objects, meditating upon the Supreme Lord, right? And always thinking about Krishna and having transcendental faith, right? And controlling the habits of sleeping, eating, recreation, right? And controlling the mental activities. This may be sounding something mystical. That is something that we cannot see, right? So what will be the result? So what will happen to me if I'm going to do this kind of yoga activity? Because see, the normal common man kind of activity is being in worldly pleasures. That is not trying to control one's mind, right? And engaging in unrestricted sense enjoyment, right? Not trying to focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not worshipping the Lord, right? And engaging in mundane worldly activities without consideration of whether this is reality or whether this is illusion. So this is the normal kind of the mentality. So what happens to that person who is worldly minded, and what happens to a person who is following the spiritual consciousness, right? That is what that has been asked in this verse. Just like how a common man gets a different kind of doubt. So there are different kinds of processes for self-realization given by Krishna, right? Self-realization can be sought by the path of knowledge, that is by Jnana Yoga, or by, that is also called as mental speculation. That is, I try to speculate, read the Upanishads and try to speculate about the absolute truth. That's one process. Or the practice of the eightfold system. Eightfold system also called as the Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga system is, sitting and concentrating our mind and consciousness on the Supreme Personality of Godhead in meditation, or with the help of some kind of bodily postures, or by the help of some breathing practices. That is the eightfold system. Or by Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is all about 9 ways of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting. So either we are hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, about his names, his fame, his activities, his story, and about his description, or we are chanting his names, chanting his glories, hearing, chanting, worshipping, right? And thinking of Krishna as one's friend, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with the devotees, eating prasadam, all this comes in the Bhakti Yoga principles. So the thing is, if we follow any of the above mentioned three methods, whether it be Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, we are going to achieve the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness sooner or later. So one process may be very effective and very fast. One process may be a little slow. But sooner or later, that is going to happen. Right? So this was actually asserted by the Lord in the second chapter. That even if we do little endeavor on the transcendental path, swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Right? So what does that mean? Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat means even if we do little bit of endeavor also in this yoga system, any one of the yoga system also, there is a great hope for deliverance, right? But now if we have to compare these three systems, right, which have been delineated by Lord Krishna, Jnana, Ashtanga, and Bhakti, Bhakti Yoga is the most direct method of God realization. So it's not an indirect method. So it's like, all the other methods also will ultimately conclude towards Bhakti Yoga. They will all come to the same point, that even if I go with the philosophical speculation also, ultimately I will understand who is Krishna, who am I, and now I will worship Krishna. Or even if I go to the Ashtanga Yoga system, and if I'm meditating upon the Lord Krishna, then also ultimately will come to a conclusion that Lord is all pervasive. He is present as the super soul in every living entity. He is present in every atom. And I will meditate upon the Lord, and I will again come to the same point or the same conclusion. So, but Bhakti Yoga is very, very suitable for this age of Kali because it's a direct method. So there's no waste of time, right? We are not wasting our time in trying to come to a conclusion. We are accepting the conclusion directly that is given by God. That is why the system of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna says, this is the system that I have given. So there are other systems which have been developed by different munis and rishis, right? Which Krishna is is telling about it also. He's talking about it also in Bhagavad Gita. But the point is, Bhakti Yoga or the pure devotional service of Krishna consciousness is the system that Krishna recommends, right? And it is also very, very wonderful process because there is nothing called a fall down in Bhakti Yoga. There is a possibility of fall down in the other processes. For example, in the Jnana or in the Dhyana Yoga, there's a possibility that, a person may fall down. But it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that a person who takes to Bhakti Yoga, even if he walks on the street blindfolded, he will not fall down. Right? So, pursuing a transcendental path is like declaring war against Maya. Right? Maya is so strong. Right? The Maya is constituting of three modes: mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Right? We have seen what is mode of goodness. Right? It is conditioned by knowledge and happiness. Right? Mode of passion by work and attachment. Mode of ignorance by sleep and inertia. These three modes, we are continuously under the grip of the material nature. So we are declaring a war. This yoga system following Bhagavad Gita means I am declaring the war against Maya. Daivi hi esham gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam dharanti te. Right? But those people who are surrendering to the Lord Krishna, right? They can easily cross beyond this Maya. This Maya is constituting of the three modes of material nature: Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamagun. And it is very difficult to overcome. Maya is not easy to overcome. But those who have surrendered to Krishna, right, who have taken up this process of yoga system, they can, right? Those who have surrendered to Krishna, that is Mameva ye prapadyante. Prapadyante means surrender. If you surrender to Krishna, then only you can conquer Maya. Or else Maya will conquer you. So all the living entities are under the control of external energy of Krishna or Maya. And Maya is under the control of Krishna. So therefore, this simple formula is, if you surrender directly to Krishna, Maya will leave you. Right? So that is what we see in this verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So thank you very much that you are all coming and giving attentive listening to Bhagavad Gita shlokas. And by attentively hearing Bhagavad Gita and by following the instructions of Lord Krishna, we can also overcome this Maya and attain the highest perfection of human form of life. Thank you very much.